it's been staring at me from my bookshelf. I started this club off so that we could read series together. Magical apartment that lets you kind of travel in time for it, but I do have some slightly high hopes for it. Hello my little raindrops, welcome back or welcome home. My name is Desiree and it is so nice to have you here. So I realized today that I have never taken the time to actually sit down and just talk to you guys about my book clubs. I know many of you who follow me on here follow me on other platforms, and so you've probably already seen this, you've probably already heard about these clubs, and you are probably already part of some of them. But I thought it might be fun for me to just come on here once a month and tell you guys which books my book clubs will be reading for said month. And so what better way to start than with my birthday month, the month of August. Do you wonder why there are 3 books? That's because I started a 3rd book club. Oh my! And we are going to start with that one first. So, starting August 1st until the end of August, so August 31st, my book club, which is called The Series We Left Unfinished, will be reading The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I started this book club pretty recently because honestly, I was looking for motivation to start reading series and actually finishing them. If you're not familiar with the kind of reader I am, I typically take breaks between reading like books in a series. So for example, I read Shatter Me back in like February or March, and I still have not read Unravel Me. It's been staring at me from my bookshelf since I got it, honestly. And so I own so many series, and I think I've only finished like 2 of them. And so I figured that obviously I'm not the only one who's like this. I cannot possibly be the only one. And thankfully, I am not the only one, because so far I think we're at like 61 members who joined the club, which is honestly, I'm so grateful and I'm so excited. But I did start this club off so that we could read series together. So the way that this club is gonna work is that every month we're gonna read 1 book, but it's always gonna be within the series. So for this one, this is a trilogy, so we're gonna read book 1 throughout August, and then book 2 throughout September, and then book 3 throughout October. And so what I'm gonna do now to kind of choose the next series that we're gonna read in November, I'll go on my TikTok, I'll give options, I'll ask people to vote, and then we're gonna start reading our next series, and that's just how it's gonna go. This book club, along with my 2 others, are hosted on Fable, which is free to join. It's an app that you can download either on your iPhone, iPad, Android devices. Anyways, you can download the app. It's free to join the app and the club. That is where all of these clubs are hosted, including this one. And I was inspired by Sloan from the Crow Club, which I have been working very closely with because of my job at Fable. They made another club called the House of Nostalgia, where they reread series that are very nostalgic to them because they fell in love with it when they were teenagers or when they were in middle school, you know, those kinds of books. And so Sloan made an announcement. They had started reading The Clockwork Prince, and so people were asking like, what's the next book? And she made an announcement saying that we're gonna be reading 1 book every single month within that series until we finish it. And I just thought, oh, that's such a nice concept, and that would be such a great way for me to actually read and finish my series. Let's see if people are interested in doing something like this, but not necessarily books that are nostalgic to us, just series in general. And I got some interest, so that is where we are with that. And then the next one is Rainy Days Call for Romance Book Club, which is a club I started for romance readers because there are so many of us, right? And so this is a club where we exclusively read romance. It's not necessarily like rom-coms only or like feel-good romances or sad romances. It's just romance in general as a genre. And the book that won the vote for this one is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, which I'm so unbelievably excited to read because one of my favorite books that I read last year was The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. And this is the same kind of like magical realism, rom-com, emotion-filled, tear-jerking type of book. So I'm incredibly excited for this one. Isn't the book stunning? Just look how pretty it is. Ugh, I love it so much. I realized I didn't give like a description of what The Summer I Turned Pretty is, but I feel like I don't need to because it's pretty popular. But it's basically a YA romance with a love triangle that happens by the beach. So there's that. And then this one here, the 7-Year Slip, is about a magical apartment that lets you kind of travel in time when you're inside the apartment. I'll resume the blurb so that I don't give you too big of any kind of spoiler. But basically, the FMC, Clementine, works as a book publicist. She's kind of been just really focused on work and not as focused on living her life, which is something that her aunt strongly advocated whenever they saw each other. One day, she moves into her late aunt's apartment and she finds a strange man standing in the kitchen. So at first, she's like, why did you break into my apartment? Like, why are you here? What is going on? Thing is, they are both living in the same apartment, 7 years apart. So he exists 7 years in the past. So 7 years ago, he lived in this apartment. For him, 7 years ago is the present, obviously. And so Clementine is 7 years in the future when compared to this guy's timeline. And so her aunt always said the apartment was a pinch in time, a place where moments blended like watercolors. She also said that love is never a matter of time, but a matter of timing. I'm so very excited for it because I feel like Ashley Poston is strongly inspired by Just Like Heaven, the movie, or Et si c'était vrai, the book, which I read when I was in high school. It's both spectacular. The movie is inspired from the book. This is very, very Just Like Heaven coded. The Dead Romantics is also very much Just Like Heaven coded. Oh, anyways, I'm so excited to read this. It's absurd. Okay. And then for my oldest book club, the Tabby's Annotating Book Club, we're going to be reading Gallant by V. Schwab, which once again, I'm so incredibly excited to read because I haven't read any of V. Schwab's work other than The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and obviously these are two very different books. But I have heard some good things about this. I have also heard some not so good things about this. Like, as with every single book, there are some people who love it, like it, hate it, you know. But I am excited. The plot sounds interesting, and I do really love Victoria's writing. So, I have some pretty... I don't have, like, super high hopes for it, but I do have some slightly high hopes for it. And so what is the Tabby's Annotating Book Club, you ask? It is a club that I launched back in 2022. It started off as a Discord book club, but it eventually made its way onto Fable because so many people were asking me, like, can we please join? Are you gonna make like another book club, or are there gonna be any places that open or anything like that? And I wasn't about to make any more slots for that private club, but I did make kind of an extension onto Fable, and it eventually just grew so much that we're kind of all on Fable now. And so the Tabby's Annotating Book Club is a club that I started for the members to kind of share their annotating journey with the other members, or for anyone to join and to learn how to annotate, or just kind of have fun with annotating in general. I will be sharing my annotating system for this in the Fable Book Club. I will be sharing my annotations in general. I'll be sharing my favorite quotes, all of that. So I'm very excited, and this is technically like my last month of being able to fully enjoy my book club, just because classes start up again in September. And I will be busy because I'm going to be working, and I'm also going to have some pretty intense classes because this is my last year of university. It's the year that I'm doing my honors. There's going to be a lot going on, so I really, really want to enjoy all of these book club books, but also all the books that I will be reading in August. And I do hope that I can read at least a couple of them. But anywho, these are the 3 books all 3 of my book clubs will be reading in August. If you would like to join, I'll have a link to each of them in the description below. So you can join whichever one you want. You can join all 3 if you want, just one of them, 2, whatever. It's entirely up to you, obviously. But I do hope to see you there because I'm very excited to see where the clubs go this summer.